April 5th at 4 p.m. We're a little late. And item 1, welcome and all that. We've already done all that, so we're going to go right into item 2. And we have 2 sets of minutes to approve: the February 2nd, 2016 Board of Commissioners recess meeting, and then the approval of the February 16th, 2016 Board of Commissioners regular meeting. I'll be happy to, there's no deletions or additions, mistakes. I'll be happy to ask for a motion to approve those minutes as printed.
So moved, Mr.
Thank you,
Chair.
Jack. You've all heard the motion. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion's approved 4-0. And with that, we have 3 items on our agenda. The second item we're really going to put off till our April 19th, our regular meeting, which was a schematic on the jail plan. So we only have 2 items under items for decision that we'll really discuss today. And with that, I'll ask for an approval of the agenda as it's printed.
So moved.
Thank you, Jack. You've heard the motion by Jack. Again, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. That passes 4-0. All right, the first thing is Paul, purchasing minority business participation outreach plan.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to sub for our purchasing agent who's out sick this week. So, as is mentioned in your agenda, we had previously adopted a minority participation outreach plan back in, I guess, 2009. And that is a plan where the county has established a 10% goal for our construction projects, where we want to include minority and the minority community in any of our projects to give them an opportunity to get county business. So we had adopted that at one time for a grant that we had with a federal grant, and now since we're getting ready to proceed with the construction on the East Burke Library and Senior Center, we need to include that plan with our CM at risk, so when he contacts his subcontractors and tries to get bids, that they can look and make sure that we're trying to achieve our 10% participation goal. So the document you have in front of you is basically just readopting a plan that from earlier, and it's patterned after the state's 10% minority participation goal. But again, it's one we've had in place before, and we're needing to go ahead and readopt it so we can include it in the project for the Library Senior Center.
All right, any questions for Paul?
And there are a few minor technical, I was talking to Kay, technical grammatical type changes I've noticed that we need to make in this document. So I'd ask that when we adopt it with the ability to make the technical corrections to that.
All right, comments, questions?
He answered my one question. I was going to ask what the difference between this one and the previous one, and he said it was a duplication thereof. Is anything changed that made this a timely matter now? Anything that?
No, only from the standpoint, only the standpoint that when we were meeting with the CM at risk and we were, he was trying to get his documentation ready to bid out, and they inquired about the plan. I told them that yes, the county did have one, so they need to include that in their bid documents. And so when we went back to try to find the actual document, for some reason we weren't able to locate, the version that we'd adopted in 2009. I think Kay found a little bit of information about it, but we didn't actually have a signed copy of the plan. Is that right? So we're trying to just want to go back and dot our I's and cross our T's and get, a signed document so we can include that in the upcoming project.
But this should be a constant ongoing part of our rules and regulations.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Ordinance.
Yeah, once you adopt it, it should be included in every project that you do.
If I wanted to look that up, where would I find it posted, just for reference?
Once you adopt it, it should be on the county website, and then any bid document the county puts out. If you look through the document, you'll see the There's categories like, one, the designer's responsibilities, which designer is the architect, engineer. And the idea is that you identify the minority businesses in the community and let them know that the opportunities exist for being included and submitting bids on the projects. So, a lot of it is just for getting word out to firms that may be interested in doing work for the county.
Do we have a regulation or ordinance within our recruitment, job recruitment, or bid process that this letter goes out with all of them, or?
Well, statute requires the county to have a policy, adopted policy, which, again, we previously adopted, but, we're wanting to clarify it, today. But that is, statute requires counties on any construction project to include that in so people will know.
So it does go out with those specific job requirements?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right, what's the pleasure of the board on that? Item 1.
I think we're out of compliance with it, so I make the motion that we approve it.
Good, thank you, Maynard. You all heard the motion by Maynard. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. That passes 4-0, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Paul. All right, item 2, as you know, because Jeff's not here today, we're going to discuss that on April 18th. And with that, we'll go to item 3, reclassification of the paralegal to the county manager. Brian?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, Beth left us a little while back, and she was a paralegal. We've put the job out. We've gotten some responses. I wasn't truly pleased with the responses that we got. And I thought a little more about the position and some of the discussions that I believe Beth had about her job, and what we really weren't using the skill sets that come with a paralegal. And I believe we would be better off to change this back to more of an executive assistant to the county manager, and also fulfill duties as a deputy clerk to the board. What we're asking for is also to reduce the pay grade one step from where it was for the paralegal, because you're not needing those skills for this position if it's approved for the reclassification. I don't know if you have any questions. I'd be glad to try to answer, but I just don't see where we were really utilizing those skills and that paying for them. And if the person's not happy, if they're really there to do paralegal work and not so much administrative work, you may not be able to keep, if you were able to hire a paralegal. I would just, like I said, try to get more to the point of what we're truly using and helping the clerk. And as we're getting into budget season with minutes and everything else, the clerk is needing some help. So anything you could do to help accelerate that process would be appreciated.
Comments? Questions?
I have a question. How administrative assistants do we have in the county? Does anybody know? HR gone, I guess.
No, she's behind you.
Is she?
We don't have a total count. We have quite a few.
What's the normal pay status for those positions?
We've got the pay plan here.
Hmm?
We've got the pay.
It's, for administrative assistant, for true executive level administrative assistant, from 16 to 20 pay grades, depending. The high administrative assistant 3 is a pay grade 20. And the administrative assistant 3, pay grade 20, is the key assistant to the DSS director, the public health director, for instance.
So we're going to hire someone, administrative person, that's going to be paid more than some of the administrative people that we have working for us now.
Yes, and that's not unusual when you have the executive assistant to, if you look at the county manager, the highest level executive.
Where does classification come from? Out of the air, or what other county has anything like this?
They're generally, when you classify the executive assistant to the county manager, you look at that, and this one's a hybrid job, so you're not gonna find that comparison in other counties. It's a hybrid between executive assistant, deputy clerk,
And public information.
and public information. So you combine that and determine what is the most appropriate pay grade based on the pay grade relationship. The clerk to the board's a pay grade 23, so certainly you wouldn't make it a 23. It is the highest level executive assistant in the county, and so it's 2 pay grades above the other executive assistants to department heads, which is appropriate 2 pay grade differential.
And how many years have we gone without an executive assistant to the county manager in the past years? We never had one before, did we?
Not that title.
When?
Not that title,
No.
but an assistant to the county manager is the title that was on the pay plan for some time, yes, sir.
But the pay was lower than the 22, wasn't it?
Well, that's true, but the expectations for this job are much greater and more diverse than what it was previously classified as.
You've got a confidentiality aspect in there, but just for the sake of numbers, what is pay scale 22? What's the low and what's the high?
Pay range on 22 starts at $36,016.08 up to the maximum 55,824. That's the pay range for 22.
And we'll add in the benefits, that will be approximately $60-some thousand or $50-some thousand.
If you hire at the maximum of the range, which we never do, generally it's at the minimum plus 10% if the county manager approves that.
Here's something else that's happened. It's just picked out of the air and create a position where it don't exist. So that's my position. I wouldn't vote for it.
Other comments, questions? Brian, do you have anything?
Mr. Chairman, the board realizes that we had a paralegal. This is going to be to replace that paralegal position, so this is not the creation of a new position. This is just redoing an existing position to find a more adequate type of skill set to fill it based on our experience. So it's not a new position.
Right.
I don't know how you figure that.
We had a position that was a paralegal,
You did.
and now
Why is it on
we're downgrading that position to this, what we're talking about here.
We created that position too, and how long did that last? 6 months?
About 7. But that was to take Janie's place when we were under the impression that we may be hiring a staff attorney, and we wanted to have the ability to support the staff attorney. And that no longer seems to be the case. And the job that is still needed to be done is to be the assistant to the county manager, his executive assistant, and also be the deputy clerk and the public information officer, and also write and administer grants, which is well beyond most administrative assistants' scope of work. You may remember that we do have a $100,000 Golden Leaf grant for the Broughton Hospital study, as well as a $50,000 grant from the Appalachian Regional Commission to help in the payment of that study. So those are things that we are involved with and hope to be involved with it, and other opportunities should arise.
Paul, how much trouble would you get, you'd have to go through to get the budgeted for employees' pay and benefits over from 5 years ago until 15 and 16? How much it increased over that period of time?
Are you talking about by employee or like by department, or what kind of?
Total budget that we spent on pay and benefits.
Well, we would have the, because I think the first year that we have on our new finance system, because I can get reports out of that fairly easily, so I can do 2009, 2010, I think it's as far back as I can go.
I'm not talking about a year, just pick out 1 year, 5 years ago,
Oh, okay, well, I mean,
that 1 year.
yeah, I mean, I can run a report in, probably a couple hours and get that information.
Okay.
So,
If I remember correctly, when I did that study at last budget, we'd added 30-some more employees. We have added $5 million to payroll in the last 5 years.
well, I
Yeah,
know you've had,
Hired 102 over the last 2 years for social service alone.
Most of those are,
I don't
we do pay a
understand.
percentage of it.
As far as they're an employee, I don't care if
Mr. Chairman,
Dodo pays for them, or we pay for them, or who.
just for knowledge for Maynard, what's the different pay scale of grade 20 and 22 in dollars and cents?
The 20 and 22.
I'm assuming it's $2,000 or $3,000.
There's actually 5% in between each payment.
You answered the question.
Yeah,
It'd be
it's
10% more.
Yeah, it's 5% in each payment.
A secretary with confidentiality would probably be worth 10% more with confidentiality.
So are you saying the pay grade of 22?
22 would be 10% higher than,
All right, what is the, we had plenty of discussion. What is the pleasure of the board on item 3?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the reclassification of the paralegal to the county manager, salary grade 23, down to the executive assistant to the county manager, deputy clerk, salary grade 22, and add the new title to the county's pay plan.
Thank you, Johnny. You've all heard the motion. Again, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Passes 3-1. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, on that number 2 that we're postponing till the
Right.
19th, probably need a formal motion on that to
All right,
table that until the 19th.
all right. Now, ask for that motion to table that at this time.
so move, Mr. Chairman.
You all heard the motion from Maynard. All those in favor, again, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. That passes 4-0. All right, and that really basically concludes our recess meeting. One thing I would like to ask, there's been some discussion, and I've had some phone calls, and I'm sure some of you, I'd like to have a little meeting sometime in the future on our employee benefits in Mark III. That stuff all confuses me, but I know staff's dealing with it, but this is one of the most important things to our county employees, these voluntary insurance plans and whatever, but I'll be honest, I don't understand it 100%. I've had a few calls this last week. I think it'd be worth the commissioners having a short meeting on that, maybe before or after one of our meetings. I don't want to burden anybody down, but I guess maybe you all understand it more than I do. I don't understand the whole process and whatever, but I think it's it's one of the most important things to our employees, and I don't want them to think that we're overlooking this. And as a board of commissioners, that I know staff's working on it, but I just if it's all right, I like to for us in the future to schedule a little meeting on that. And
Mr. Chairman, you have the authority to do that anytime you desire.
thank you, Jack. I don't know when a good time, because we have the jail thing, our next meeting, and that's probably going to take some time, but maybe the following pre-agenda, would that be all right? Yeah, would that be all right? All right, anything else on the Board of Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if any commissioners are getting a lot of letters and phone calls from these people out in Lake James about the fire department out there.
I'm getting them by the,
What's going on?
well, Well, it's something that we hope that the two fire departments will work out between themselves, but I think the thing with most of the residents is the distribution, the 75-25 that I think, and it looks to me like the people, if you remember years ago, Lake James was, I don't want to say a bad fire department, but they weren't up to snuff as firefighters, and now they've undergone training. They actually have dropped a rate that they're a better fire department than than the average, and they're doing a great job. And I think the people at East Shores, I think from what I read, it's all form letters. So I really, you read one, you've read them all. But I think they want the distribution to go mostly to Lake James, and I wrestle with that too. But there's some things in the legislation, Brian, right, that Glen Alpine has a right to.
Well, the change of lines and areas of responsibility would have to be agreed to by the fire departments. The tax distribution is a part of the contract that we just approved that still has another year left. And part of what we were encouraging those two fire departments to do were to resolve the issues that exist between the departments, and to do that within that 2-year time frame. And they are in the process of doing that, and I understand that Glen Alpine may be having a closed session on that this evening, with the possibility of, I don't know, I don't want to get too far ahead of them, if they will be able to come out and formally resolve that problem.
And that's what we're hoping for, is the fire departments, so we don't have to get in the middle of all that.
Well, that's true, but last year, they came before the board, and the board agreed to a 2-year contract with the idea that those two departments come together within those 2 years and decide what they want to do. And if they fail to do that, then the Board of Commissioners
Right.
would make that decision for them.
Exactly, you're 100%
So
right.
my question is, why are those people upset out there? Have they spread rumors that something's going to happen, or what?
I don't know that they're upset. It just seems like they want the distribution to go all to Lake James, the way I read it.
There's some confusion going on out there, and then somebody said they went down to Raleigh and met with the folks in Raleigh about something else, and I talked to the mayor, and he said no, what they went down to Raleigh for was to I guess de-annex a piece of property that had been bought some years ago out towards the lake, I think, for the purpose of putting a fire station out there, and they no longer want to do that. They don't want to get out in that area. So they're actually doing probably what these folks really are wanting them to, and they've been misinformed or misunderstood what was going on. And again, I'm not sure exactly what.
But tonight, that closed session in Glen Alpine should be, we hope that will be part of that
Yes,
process and
because
whatever.
I feel bad throwing the letters in the trash can, when I get them, but,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? You're going to call them up and talk to them about it? Or emails?
Well, it's a form letter, which really
I know.
bugs me, Jack. Everyone's a form letter, and I've been reading the names and sort of flipping them. I mean, it's just, I wish, now I have had a couple people call me, which is better, I tried to answer one call today, but basically, we hope that the fire departments will solve their own problem out there, and then you're right, if they don't, we'll have to take action here.
That was the deal when we
Yeah.
met with them last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
And that's what they agreed to.
I don't know if there's a false alarm or whatever, but some of them do have in mind they're supposed to have that separated and fixed by budget time, which means they gotta have it to us by May, early June. And that may be part of it, but
Is there any way you get a letter out there to these homeowners association, or whatever they have, to tell them that this is the deal, and don't worry about it until 2017?
I don't know how we'd get it out there, I mean, to
I don't
every
either.
one of them, but but I'm hoping it'll play out in the next couple of weeks,
we
honestly.
should.
We'll know a little
And if
better
they got together
after
and
tonight,
started
but,
this year, it wouldn't make any difference.
we're hoping that we wouldn't have to get involved in it, but as you know, we might have to get involved in
Well, we
it.
should have done it 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, if you remember 10 years ago, though, Lake James wasn't the fire department it is today. And, you know, we had those problems out there, but they have come a long way, and I would say they're an excellent fire department according to the state now. So anyways, anything else? If not, motion to adjourn.
So
Moved.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand, and there's
And
pie
happy
and ice
birthday,
cream in
everybody.
the boardroom.
Gordon?